one of the good things that'll come out of it is the fact that they will get a new economy and a new side to our economy in Alice Springs. We're always very subject to the whims of forces beyond our control, for instance with pastoralism and tourism and our various other mainstays of our economy. And I've always seen Desert Knowledge as something that will perhaps give us a bit of freedom from those vagaries, that will promote good, sound desert economies that we can grow, and that will give us a basis for long-term prosperity.
I've found a marvellous positive of what Desert Knowledge has done and is doing, is bringing and finding a place for Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal groups to come together.
They recognised native, Aboriginal prior ownership by Aboriginals of that land, and so Luratupa was quite heavily involved in doing the consultation and so on for the Indigenous Land Use Agreement, which had to then go to the National Native Title Tribunal.
It was a complicated story with 3 different land tenures of 3 different lots of ground, some of which had native title and some which didn't, and some which there was dispute over at a legal level. But we were able to bring together the parties to work our way through it and to get an outcome, I think, that's very positive for all interests.
We, as the native title holders, really appreciated Desert Knowledge Australia Board in recognising that it was important that we be recognised as the native title holders.
And it's certainly going to be very positive for the whole Desert Knowledge Group, the Desert People Centre and the CRC and DKI and whoever else is going to be resident on that block of land. I think there's a really good sense of energy and sort of positive cooperation that's come of that, and that's the sort of thing that I think DKA and Desert Knowledge can do.
Well, they're 3 very important arms of Desert Knowledge, if you like. The precinct will be a physical location that will demonstrate the fact that a very important collaboration of Indigenous education and training organisations can work together with an organisation that's set up to have broad networks across Desert Australia, and that in turn can work with a research organisation that's set up under a particular Commonwealth funding program that's drawn together a number of partners. So we've got a research organisation, we've got a Indigenous training and education organisation, and we've got a national networking organisation who are working together and who are physically located together in the precinct. But that precinct is really just a site for virtual training and connections with other parts of Desert Australia, but it's importantly an icon for the Australian Desert Knowledge movement that will have international attention and will draw people to it.
Because Desert Knowledge is addressing this kind of global issue head on, this clarity of thought and the strategy behind some of the research directions are really useful to share with people in the U.S. because it helps people recognize what the important questions are and not to get lost in all the minutiae at the fringe, but get right to the heart of these important issues of sustainability.
But it's sort of a knowledge model or a community consultation model that could be used for various different subjects. It doesn't have to be sustainability. It's really much broader than that, and it's much more about developing communities and offering the opportunity for people to share information between each other.
Connecting people, helping them to understand that cooperation with each other rather than competition is a key to building success and gaining sustainable, harmonious livelihoods and communities in the desert.
One of the big issues, I think, of course, with Indigenous industries is intellectual property rights as well. And, the work that's being done in various forms, it's giving people the assurance that the knowledge is being gathered, but it's going to be safeguarded and people given proper recognition for that knowledge.
There should not be a boundary between Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal in the Desert Knowledge CRC and the Desert Knowledge Movement. And what we're trying to do together is use our knowledge to create new opportunities. Now, that knowledge might come from traditional Aboriginal knowledge about living in the landscape, and it might come from non-Aboriginal knowledge. Bringing those two things together creates the new piece of knowledge, the new intellectual property that we take forward, and that's our approach.
And I think that's where the whole desert knowledge stuff grew, out of that seed that was planted of coming together of all the people within the desert to share the wealth of knowledge and resources out there in the desert that are there, you just got to tap into it and share the knowledge.